Okay, folks, I'm back. I'm live. It's Jeff Landfield here. It's 10:30 at night on a Saturday. I wasn't going to go live. The results, I'll be honest, I've had a few drinks. I've had a few beers. In my office, I'm working late. I wasn't going to go live. I had kind of asked a few people, should I go live? There was a text group I'm in with 3 other people, and one said no, one said yes. And there was one outstanding, and I said, whatever you say, I'm going to do. And this other person said yes. They're probably texting me right now. So here we go. So there's been about 7,000 more ballots counted. I'm going to show you guys for the folks watching. If you're watching this right now, you're probably one of the insider people, so you know what's going on. But here's what the Division of Elections said earlier. They posted, they're actually getting, to their credit, finally, which is, this is not really, I'm not giving them, it's a small compliment based on, we're 11 days after the election. We're still wondering how some of these Cliff Grow race is going to go. Ballot Measure 2, which is trending pretty hard no. Philip Eison, the guy who was pushing yes, is going to lose his mind. So they posted 1,617 results tonight, which include 1,431 absentees from District 37. That's the Bryce Edgman district. 38, that's the C.J. McCormick, Nellie Jimmy district. 39, that's the Neil Foster district. And 40, that's the current Thomas Baker, who is done hard, new Robin Burke district. So 4,466 absentees from districts 1, 2, that's Juneau. 5 is Kodiak, and 6 is Vance, Homer, Anchor Point, and 920 questioned from 2, 3, which is, I think, Sitka and Juneau, and 6. I'm getting pretty good at this. I know basically when I see a number, because I look at these districts so much on the results. So we still have, I think, about 9,000 ballots left from, it sounds like, mostly Anchorage. The most frustrating thing is we don't really know what's going on. There's a Division of Elections has a page with what do they call it? They have a statistics page, but that's not been updated really. So a lot of us are having to go through and add up the absentees and from the different districts and figure out what was counted. But just to give you an idea, Trump's gone down a little bit, not even a 1/3% or something, 54. So that didn't change. Now Begich did go down a bit. Peltola went up a little bit, but it's still not even really, what are we at? 328,000. We were at 321,000 last night. So I think one of these groups already called it for Nick Begich. They finally called it for Nick Begich. Decision Desk, I think. Fucking crazy. November 16th, the election. The only other state I think that's having these kind of problems is, it sounds like Pennsylvania. This whole Bob Casey thing is they're counting ballots, they're finding ballots. I want to go down to the ballot measure 2, because this is nuts. If you're watching this and you're for repealing ranked choice voting, hold on to your hats, folks, because I think it's. So it was 4,200 votes up on election night. Now we're at about 900, I think 895. And from what I understand, and smarter people than me are working these numbers and looking at this stuff, I think it's going to fail by maybe 1,000 votes plus or minus, because the outstanding votes, absentees, it looks like, are heavily from Anchorage and places where no won resoundingly. All these votes right now we have counted here, these 155,592 yes votes, are including the Matsu Valley and the Kenai Peninsula, places where it was hold on, somebody's texting me. What are they saying? I got a guy. Most of the counts today were Rural and Juneau. Those were going to be more pro-no on too. That's true. But Anchorage was, Anchorage was also, from what I understand from the people that I'm talking to, these smart folks that are going through these results, and so you can't see how somebody voted. if you guys are watching this and you know how this works, let me tell you something. Let me kind of give you a little insight. And again, I'm not a genius here, but I just talk to people who know what's going on. You can model things. You can see like what votes are left, who's left, what areas they've counted, what's left to count, and then what areas before went a certain way, yes or no, or for a candidate or against a candidate. And you can model these things out. And the models show that I've seen, that people are showing me, based on the outstanding absentees and based on the trend, ballot measure 2 should fail by a very small margin. That's what now, people could have voted differently. There could have been people voting late, could have decided to vote no, yes, more so than people who voted early. There's questions here. But so far they've been modeling correctly. So far, what I've seen, what I've been told, and what comes out is tracking with the model. So we're talking about 900. Look at this. We're talking about. I mean, right now we're within. So if it's within 0.5%, they will do a state paid, funded recount. So we're at 800 and some votes. There's 9,000 votes left. It needs to. I think no needs to get 55% of those, and from what I'm looking at from some of these districts where the absentees are outstanding, they're getting 60 and 65% yes. So I'm not saying it's 100% going to fail, but based on the modeling, I mean, don't forget, election day was up 40, yes was up 4,200. Now it's up 900. No, and I don't believe for a second they're finding ballots, they're creating new ballots, but it does call into question the integrity of the system when we don't know what's going on. Very smart people who do this for a living cannot figure out where the ballots are coming from, or what's being counted till we don't get told till days later. It's not putting a lot of faith in the system for the public, even for the insider people who are like living this world. They don't know what's going on. Nancy Dahlstrom the lieutenant governor, has still not given a press conference, has still not spoke publicly. Carol Beecher, the director of the Division of Elections, same thing. Dunleavy, the governor, was supposed to go live on Tuesday. Remember that whole thing? We're going to go live with Lieutenant Governor and we're going to make an announcement, and then hour and a half later, just kidding. And I'm getting many dozens, 100 texts asking what's going on. I don't know. Why would I know? I'm the last guy that would know if he's going to tell anybody. And he's not Secretary of Interior. He's not Secretary of Energy. They've already named Burgum and who's the other guy? Some minerals guy, Energy. There was like some talk that maybe Dunleavy would be named like chair of the Energy Council, but then Burgum got that too. So my original tweet last week, or after the election, I said not energy, not interior, maybe education. I guess that's still in play. Getting messages here. Yeah, no. Look, I didn't say they're finding ballots. I'm not saying that. I don't believe they're a secret ballot stashed somewhere. They're going to like in Russia where they, or someplace, some banana republic. But it doesn't challenge the system when it's like, oh yeah, we found there's a few thousand more that came in, or there's some over here that came, we don't know where they came from Southeast. I mean, I don't believe anybody's cheating. No one's cheating, okay? There's no cheating. There's incompetence. That's different than cheating. And when there's an utter lack of communication from the Division of Elections, from the Lieutenant Governor, from the Governor, and I've had friends who are not political people at all. They vote. They kind of are aware of what's going on. They're asking me like, what the fuck is going on? Why don't we know who won these races? This Begich race, for example, like what's up with this ballot measure? I thought it was the yes one. And then they see something somewhere, and the media generally. I mean, there's ADN's done some things, but I mean, I don't want to like toot my own horn here, but I've been really on top of this stuff since the election, on Twitter, on Facebook, doing lives, getting information, trying to go through the cast vote record. That's how I've been able to figure out the absentees over the last 11 days. Is I go through the cast vote record and I see, okay, absentees requested, absentees returned, absentees. I go through, I add them from each district, and I figure out, okay, that's how many they've counted, and then you can go through, I didn't do this. Another friend of mine is doing this. They had an Excel file for each update. So they could, I should have done that, where you can, District 13, okay, there was 435 absentees. The next day there was 580. The next day, so then you can see like what absentees were counted in what districts. This should be information we should have easily, readily available. I mean, they should be providing that with each update. So, I mean, I feel like ad nauseum I've talked about this, what we need to do, maybe have all absentees due on election day. Shut down early voting 3 or 4 days before the election day. Make it more available so we don't have 2 and 3 and 4 hour, 1 and 2 and 3 hour waits in line. But Jesus, I mean, it's literally 11 days and we still don't know about the Cliff Grow. He's up by 10 votes, Cliff Grow, over David Nelson. The whole thing hinges. Also, there's this Nellie Jimmy situation. And I think this guy, the Sing Q1 guy, who's really good, he's like a data scientist. They've counted more for 38. I forget the previous number, but Nellie Jimmy here, my girl Nellie Jimmy, who's negotiating herself a real sweet position either way. She's only up like less than 4 points now from McCormick. I believe the spread, if does anybody remember the spread on that? If you can text me, the spread on that was like 6 or 7 points. Somebody said, I'm not sure why we can't get an update from every region today. Today was Region 1, Juneau 1 through 6, and Region 4, Nome 37 through 40. Anchorage was counting ballots today. Why no update? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It sounds like to me what I was told is most of the outstanding are from Anchorage. But I think the spread on this Nellie CJ is the incumbent McCormick. He ran unopposed last time. Nice guy, young guy, pretty socially left for that district. So Sosa here, that's the ex-girlfriend. These 5.45% of votes, I don't know how much they're aware in the district of the CJ McCormick Victoria Sosa ex-relationship here, but I'm imagining Victoria Sosa, if she's talking to anybody, these 192 folks don't vote for CJ. That's the ex. But I can't say. We've run some. The guy modeled the SyncQ1 on Twitter modeled this, and it seemed like it was very close. But Jimmy was winning. Was going to win after the votes are redistributed. This Keppel guy here, Veterans Party of Alaska. Anyways, this one's gotten a little tighter. That's kind of interesting, but it looks like Nellie Jimmy, based on the previous model, I think I could go dig the guy's Twitter up, but it showed let me dig that up without going through all the, let's see here. I think it's like Sing Q1. Actually, he's in my DMs. I'm messaging this guy. This guy's a legend. I think he actually sent me, he sent me here we go. Look at this. Showing you guys how the fucking sausage is made here. So this was before all these new votes were added. So again, this is like the I think it's called the RCV. What's the file called? This is the file that shows where all the votes went. Suzanne Downing, of all people, put a request in and they released it. So this is what happened before these new votes were added. This was 4 days ago, I think. And if you look at where did the Sosa distribution go? So Jimmy, of the Sosa votes, right? 33 were exhausted, which means they didn't vote for anybody. 14 went to Willie Keppel. 25 went to McCormick. Wow. So 25 people who voted for Victoria Sosa were like, I'm going to vote for the ex-boyfriend. Well, maybe they don't know that, but that's kind of funny. So of the Sosa votes, 33 were exhausted. 14 went to Keppel. 25 went to McCormick. 27 went to Jimmy. Now that doesn't put anybody over the top to the 50% plus one. Now we're going to redistribute Keppel's votes. Again, this is an old from I think 4 days ago, so they haven't added the new votes in, but it's probably a good guide. So 332 of Keppel's votes were exhausted. 135 went to McCormick, but don't forget Jimmy's already ahead. 129 went to Jimmy, which puts Jimmy and McCormick after the redistribution. She's up by like 6 votes. Now, this is an old, man, it'd be crazy if McCormick won because everybody's talking about Jimmy and going with the Republicans and wanting co-chair. But based on this, this is a 4 day old. So, we don't know. So we have the Grow Nelson race. That's the big one. If Nelson wins, forget about it. I mean, upheaval. If Grow wins, much more stable for the majority, the coalition majority. Ballot Measure 2, if you're a big yes on 2 person, brace yourselves. This baby might go down. It's not looking good. I want to say I like Nancy Dahlstrom. I really do. I really like her a lot. I have nothing bad to say about her. I mean, she's a great lady. She was elected 2 years ago. She has one job. Well, 2 technically, guarding the state seal. Let's put that aside. So for 2 years, she's been in this role of running elections in a presidential year. Donald Trump's on the ballot. Mary Peltola, Nick Begich on the ballot. 50 legislative races on the ballot. This wasn't like she wasn't elected last month. And, she needs to say something. This is her job. This is her role. This is her authority. And we can't tolerate, we can't accept this. This is not acceptable. We need answers. We need accountability. And we can't, next, in 2026, folks, it's not presidential, but guess what? It's governor, Alaska governor. It's Dan Sullivan. It's U.S. Senate. Another U.S. House. Begich. Somebody's going to run against him. There's 3 statewide. Right now, it's just 1. Remember 2 years ago? It was the governor and Murkowski and, the Don Young passed away, but it was the Peltola. So 2 years ago, 3 races. We had some issues. It took a while to get some of the ballots in. It happened again, but not like this. I mean, I don't remember it being this much, this bad, this much waiting, and this kind of level of quietness or of absence from any communication from the Division of Elections. Having a beer here. So it's the same thing from a couple days ago. It's the Grow race, it's the Ballot Measure 2 race, and now we have this kind of situation with this Nellie Jimmy McCormick race. I mean, how about CJ? Came back with a few. Clawed back a little bit. I want to see those redistribution. I want to see the new file. I want to see the new, I'm getting, somebody said CJ was in the 20s. I know. I don't know. I wish I had the old file, CJ, he gained ground. He must have had some kind of game with absentees. I'm not going to say who this person is, but somebody said they're definitely fucking finding ballots. No, I don't believe I don't believe I don't believe anybody voted after they aren't finding ballots that weren't cast on the election day by voter. I don't believe that. I refuse to believe that. That would mean somebody's actually cheating. And I just don't think that's happening. I don't think there's any evidence of that. I believe it's incompetence. I believe it's a next level of incompetence, that's happening, which is effectively, for most people watching, it's challenging the integrity of the system. So now we have maybe 2 races that are the McCormick race all of a sudden got closer. What's going to happen with that? Because McCormick, he's Dem. That he's with the coalition. If he squeaks out some deal, which I don't think is going to happen, but he's locked in. He's good. Nellie Jimmy, she has the Chalista factor. They gave her a bunch of money. Andrew Guy, the head of Chalista. Nellie was supported by the Democrats, which is not surprising. I mean, he's the incumbent Democrat. It's he's going to get the support. Just like an incumbent Republican, they're going to get the support. That's kind of how it works normally. So she's pissed off, I guess, about the Chalista, Democrats supporting McCormick, even though he was the incumbent. She also got other support too, not just, he raised quite a bit of money. We can pull up the APOC. He raised way more money than she did. She got the Chalista. They got the Donlin, folks. The Donlin, the mine. They want the Donlin. You put her in the position of power in the committee, finance committee, right? They got the Nordic Chalista, right? The North Slope. There's a lot of, when it comes down to it, you guys, it's all about money and power, right? People have power, they have interests, they have money, they're very concerned with who's where on what committees and how bills can move or not move, or how, the budget can get filled and how things can happen. It's all about power. It's all about positions and power. And a lot of people who have the influence, they want to, now, traditionally, they mostly are behind the scenes. Jalissa seems a little more overt here in this thing. Her sister works there. Nellie Jimmy's sister. There was a meeting I reported on last week with the head of Chalista and the lawyer and the lobbyist and her and Neil Foster was there. I think he was there to kind of just like make sure things didn't go kind of crazy. Typically, most of the folks watching, I'm sure if you're watching the Bush caucus, the 4 members of, from Bethel, Kotzebue, Barrow, and Dillingham, they've always forever, they've stuck together. They're like a block. Right now, the Republican majority is only a majority because of the Bush caucus. 4 of them came over. Republicans had 19. 4 of them came over, 23. Josiah Pocketok put that thing together a couple of years ago. Now, if that ever breaks up, it probably has in the past. I don't know. I mean, ever since I've been watching this, they've always stuck together. It's always been a very kind of cohesive block. So if she wins and she goes off the rails and decides to do something else, I mean, that changes the whole dynamic. We've talked about that. But it's 10:40, almost 11 o'clock at night, and I don't know when the next update's going to be. I know they're going to do the retabulation. That's when they do for all the races where they don't have a clear winner at 50%. That's on Wednesday. So I guess they got to count the motherfuckers before that. I mean, there's no way they could do the retabulation on Wednesday and there's like, oh, by the way, we have some more votes. I mean, no way. That's impossible. Like, let me tell you, by Tuesday, folks, whatever's counted, that's it. That's going to be counted. I hope it's everything outstanding because the retabulation is scheduled for Wednesday, the 20th. Remember 2 years ago, they had a whole live stream, which I thought was great. They did each race. They hit the, blah, blah, hit the button, hit the red button, boom, it tabulates, and they showed the winners for each. There was like 11 races or 12 races that went to ranked choice voting too. They aren't even doing that this time. Based on what we've seen the last 11 days, not shocking. I liked the live stream. I thought that was cool. That was at least kind of interactive. It was engaging. We could all watch. It sounds like this time they're just going to go like, okay, results posted. We have to go see it ourselves. I mean, don't they get like, there's a bit of a show element to this. There's like a panache. Do the deal, go through each race. Make it flashy. Hit the button. There's going to be, 7 or 8 of these deals, 9 of the U.S. House race. Do that one last. Make it a show. Make it flashy. Give the people a show. We're all going to be watching. There's a lot of political people here. There's a lot of degenerates that want to know what's going on. I feel like they don't have any remember that January 6th committee? Not that it was, regardless of what you felt about it, I mean, they hired like ABC and CBS and NBC. Like, they hired like TV consultants to like get, know how to do it. Get the cameras, prime time, get the eyeballs. We can't do that. We can't have that kind of thing. I mean, give it to me. I'll do it. I'm here, my little setup. It's no big deal. We got some little equipment. It's not that, we can share the screen, the whole, whatever. No big deal. It's fine. What I should do is I should have some folks call in right now. Let me see if this guy wants to call in here. No, they probably aren't going to call in. Especially these folks I'm talking to. You know who you are. Well, that's the update. Okay, ballot measure 2 is still going by 900 votes or something. There's 9,000 votes left. The tracking looks like it's probably going to go down. They spent a lot of money, the no side, $15 million or something. We're still not sure about the Groh-Nelson race. I believe there's a couple hundred outstanding ballots in that baby. That's grows up by 10 votes. We have this Nellie Jimmy situation here where CJ clawed back a bit. And they're, the coalition was supposed to meet this morning in Anchorage, and that got pushed back to next week because I think they're going to wait. They want to know, folks. They want to know who's who, who's where, because we're talking about very thin margins here in the House. Senate, their majority's locked in. They got 14. They're putting pressure on Bjorkman, I hear, the Republicans. If ballot measure, actually, the fascinating thing here is ballot measure 2 affects a lot of what's going to happen, and actually the House and the Senate. Because if ballot measure 2 passes, right, ranked choice voting goes away, the open primary is the big one. That goes away. All kinds of people who are Republicans mostly, maybe some Democrats, but mostly Republicans, Kelly Merrick, Jesse Bjorkman, they have 4-year seats. But, people like Jeremy Bynum, Justin Ruffridge, any Republican, they're looking oh my God, I mean, do I have to run in a Republican primary? I mean, if they really, Chuck Kopp, he's already cast his he's already the die is cast with him, but all these folks are going to have to run in Republican primaries in 2 years if ballot measure 2 passes. Now, if it fails, that changes things because in 2 years, there's still going to be the open primary. So if ballot measure 2 goes down, which it looks like it might, I'm going to at this point say it's probably going to go down, but we don't know because there's 9,000 votes, but the modeling shows that it's probably going to go down. If ballot measure 2 fails, I would venture to guess that 2 or 3 or 4 Republicans would say, fuck it, and go to the majority, cut the deal, get what they need, whatever, because there's less risk. I mean, they're way less exposed by doing that with the open primary in 2 years compared to partisan primary, Republican primary in 2 years. So not just is this division of elections absolute abject fucking failure on counting votes affecting the organization, it's affecting the mindset, the psychology. And trust me, I talk to these people. There are people, they are waiting to see what happens before they make the deal, before they decide what they're going to do on ballot measure 2. So it's not just the votes in the districts. It's not just the outcomes of a couple races. It's ballot measure 2 and how that impacts people's psychology and decision-making when it comes to who they organize with, mostly in the House. The Senate too. The Senate's a bit different because Bjorkman and Merrick, moderate Republicans, they win their races. They have 4-year seats. They have double the time of a House member who has 2-year seats. You're in the House, you win, you go to Juneau, and by the time the session's over, you're back campaigning because somebody might be running against you, and you got to now I got to raise money and I got to deal with this. Senate's a little bit different. They have a little more of a buffer. So again, I don't know when the next votes are going to be counted. I hope tomorrow, but I'm not holding my breath. It's Sunday. My bet is, this is based on no information, but my guess is there's an update Monday and there's an update Tuesday. And that's it. And then Wednesday, they retabulate. That's my guess. By Tuesday, we'll know. This is like Apollo 13, when there's that blackout period when they're re-entering the atmosphere and there's a 3 or 4 minute, if it's 5 minutes, we'll know. By Tuesday, we'll know how much, what's going on before the retabulation. And, we'll figure. You feel like for us watching this stuff very closely, you feel like the thing's over on November 5th. You're like, it's over. Donald Trump won. Okay, fine, it's over, right? But for us, it's not over. All these other states, Florida counts 10 million ballots in a day. It's for us, it's not over. I said this, my last, live stream 4 or 5 days ago. My parents live in New Mexico. He's watching the news and they're mocking us like backwater people. They're saying or backwoods people. They're saying the sled dogs got lost. The dog sleds got lost with the ballots. That's what they're saying on the news. Now, I don't know if he's watching Fox or OAN or Newsmax or what he's watching, but somebody's saying that. And it's not, we don't need that, folks. We have so many resources. We have abundant oil and gas. We have this opportunity right now with Trump is doing a video talking about building the gas line. He wants to build the gas line. He said that, right? Don't leave he shares the video. We're talking about importing gas. Importing gas. It's like Hawaiians importing pineapples. We have a straight shot opportunity for exporting of gas from our state to Asia, to China, to Korea, and to Japan. Right now, the gas coming from Asia, from Australia up to Asia, is going through very dangerous Chinese waters. From South China Sea. We have this opportunity in this state to with the federal guarantees, loan guarantees, our own permanent fund as an investor to build something, to have cheap, affordable, abundant energy in our state. There's people in the interior who are paying $1,000 or $2,000 a month for their heating bill in the wintertime. There's no excuse for that. We're going to import gas. I went to this meeting a couple days ago, and they're talking about potentially metered rate usage, which means if it's really cold and if it's at night, you're going to pay more. If it's 7 o'clock at night, it's like California. What they do in California. We should not be doing any of that. We should build the pipeline. We should use the federal guarantees. Trump's talking about it. There's a Republican Congress. The stars are aligned here right now in this state to do something incredible and to build something and to attract people to come back here and to have businesses invest money. Lost my screen here. And to seize the moment. To seize the moment. And there should be no excuse why we shouldn't do that. But we're still fucking counting ballots. And it's not, it's like the mantra seems to be do more with less in this state. Cut the budget, pay for nothing, hand out some dividends. Well, as long as we do that, then everything, we'll just kind of deal with it. Meanwhile, we're losing population. For 12 years, people have been leaving this state. Young people, working people, people with families. I believe we have an opportunity. I believe we have the opportunity of a lifetime with Trump literally talking about the gas line and the opportunities we have. And there's a $30 billion loan guarantee. We invest $10 billion with the permanent fund. We take some of the taxes, we structure it where we get a deal for in-state energy. We put some of that money towards the power cost equalization to help the folks in rural Alaska. We put some of that money towards the Southeast for the ferries on more ferries, more service, prices of tickets, cost of, shipping goods, all these things. We could all benefit. I mean, there's no downside. We build this thing, I guarantee you, because I talk to these people and they're smart people and they do this for a living. We build this thing, we take the initiative, we make it happen. The Japanese and the Koreans, they will come to the table and they will buy gas for export. And that's money we get if we're an investor as a state in the pipeline. And it's like we're fighting over these scraps when we could be doing so much more. Big, huge opportunities in the state. And there's really no reason why. There's no reason. I mean, at this point, nothing's stopping us. When you have the president talking about it, he don't forget, he went to China with Walker. Now, obviously that didn't work out, but like Trump was part of that meeting with Xi and Walker, and there was a whole, and we have the military. We have J-Bear and Wainwright and Eielson, right? We have these military bases. We have China and Russia. That's a problem. It's a geopolitical issue. We're going to import gas. We're going to put billions of cubic feet of gas on tankers to Alaska, where our military bases rely on imported gas to function. We're sitting ducks if that happens. I mean, how much gas is on trillions of cubic feet, folks? What are we, 70 billion per south? Just to give you an idea, 70 billion, I think, per year of demand, billion cubic feet, for the South Central. We're talking about trillions and trillions and trillions of cubic feet on the North Slope. And we have a president who wants to build it, who's putting out a video who's talking about building it. We have a Congress who is on the same party as the president. We have the president who loves the governor, the tall guy. He loves. This is an opportunity that if we let this thing go to waste, we deserve what we get. That's it. That's it. There's no excuse or no reason why we shouldn't be seizing the moment here and doing something major for this state. I mean, think of the boom, think of the opportunity, think of the jobs, think of who would come here, think of the excitement, think of the energy. I mean, it's endless. And there's nothing stopping us except ourselves. So I really hope to God, our governor and our legislature and everybody in our delegation, and Dan Sullivan's been on top of this baby. He's been talking about this for a long time, about the national security element. He's been going to, Rahm Emanuel came here a couple of years ago to, Dunleavy had like an energy conference. Rahm Emanuel, ambassador for Japan, he came here. He's on board. Rahm Emanuel, Obama's chief of staff, right? Biden's ambassador to Japan. So a lot of folks are lined up on this thing, and we should do it. I feel like I'm preaching here, but I'm angry because we don't do anything in the state, and now we have an opportunity to do something really big, and I hope we do it. I'm getting a lot of texts. I'm going to take off, folks. I've said what I'm going to say. That's kind of the update. We I guess when go to Landmine Twitter, I'll when I hear information, when I have updates, I'll give it to you. I'll tell you what's going on. That's the skinny of it, folks. Let's make Alaska great again. Let's do something amazing here. Let's do a 1970s style pipeline. This time it's gas, and let's go. No excuse. I'm going to Juneau. I'm going to be watching these folks very closely here in January, and stay tuned for the next. And if you like us, if you like the Landmine, Go on the landmine, alaskalandmine.com/subscribe. Kick in a little bit, one time, recurring monthly. If you have a business or an organization or any kind of deal, we have ads on the website. We sell ads. We happy to share the analytics. We have great analytics, right? We have a lot of viewers. We have a lot of readers. So appreciate the readers. Appreciate you watching, and we will see you next time.